a disappearing act on the stream, but not for this one. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to WOR. It's Console Tier 1. It is Season 16. It's round number 3 of the Championship as we take in, of course, the Monaco Grand Prix from the Circuit de Monte Carlo. My name is James Head, delighted to be taken through the stream in place of Mr. Gareth Davies, who is not available tonight. He's in Birmingham. Lucky so-and-so. But joining me in the commentary box, of course, it is Leicester City's #1 fan. It's Mr. Joseph D'Ambrosio. Joe, how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. I wouldn't say I'm #1 fan after Wednesday's performance, but either way, good to be here once again for another round of WOR's Crossplay Tier 1. For the first time, I think we've actually been able to sort of wave at each other across the cameras, but it's always good to be here. Monaco, always a spectacular race, one that the drivers all want to win, and, well, it should also come with a lot of chaos.
It showed it. If it's anything like Legacy Division, it will come with a lot of chaos, and it may come as well with a 22nd victory from an OP Louis Valentin. But we will get into the standings because the drivers are just about to go into qualifying. And a reminder, of course, what happened last week was the Flying Scotsman of Liam Bowman, who took the win last week at Silverstone. Technically his home track, even though he's Scottish, technically his home track. I don't want to bring any differences to English and Scottish out there, certainly on this stream. But Liam Bowman took the win. Sammy Chempsey in second, the Canadian, and Kai Pearson there finishing in third. And it's Kai who still leads the championship on 40 points. 10 points lead over Sammy Chempsey coming into tonight. Liam Bowman there in third, fresh from that win. And Joe, you're best placed to probably answer this, but Liam Bowman overtaking Masterclass in the late stages of the race. The Flying Scotsman taking that win. Sammy and Kai Pearson, though, hot on his heels last week. How are we going to see this all progress out on track tonight in Monaco?
Yeah, it was a bit of a controversial one at the end. A couple of appeals, you could say, from Kai Pearson, Sammy Chempsey getting past him, and then a couple of weaves on that hangar straight on the final lap. That was only deemed as a warning. I couldn't quite remember the full reasons. I think there was like 4 or 5 lines worth of reasoning, which I didn't get down. But just a warning for Sammy Chempsey. He held on to P2, but it was the Liam Bowman overcut masterclass that saw him take his first ever console tier 1 victory. Arguably could have come last season. Actually where he started as a tier 2 driver. What a terrible decision that was. He was made to be in this tier, but he'll have a bit of a difficult task tonight, being the only pad driver on a wheel circuit.
Definitely so, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they all get on out on track. And speaking of out on track, let's go live onto the track here at the Circuit de Monte Carlo. And Jeroen is the first man out on track, of course, one of the team members, of course, for F7R. If you're wondering where I was, by the way, on Tuesday, I was down in York, and I literally got back at the start of Legacy Division, which was quite handy. Unfortunately, though, Mr. Maxring was already in the commentary box, so I couldn't actually sneak my way in to try and get Legacy Division back on. I've just noticed that we're not getting any game sound, but that has been fixed there now. But Jeroen, first man out on track. We should see, though, a loss. And already the two Williamses hit each other coming through the Nivelle chicane. Jeroen and Stefano not liking this at all. They're having a bit of a race coming through to back, but Jeroen is the first man on track. Everyone now has to try and fight for this minimal room out on track here in Monaco, and every bit of track is going to be key, potentially here in qualifying.
Yeah, this is already... well, there's a grid penalty. I was expecting a grid penalty to come in any moment. Benza is the first man to get one. It means we will have a definite restart following the 18 minutes of qualifying here. But some early controversy, almost between teammates. Jeroen gets us over the line and kick-starts the qualifying session. It is his teammate Stefano behind, despite making contact. That's not what you want between two teammates. Never mind on an outlap. Getting up close against that barrier, then on the exit of the Casino Square for Jeroen, and then into the Grand Hotel hairpin. Second gear, running all the way out wide to that barrier. I think this has been a bit of a scruffy lap so far for the Dutchman as he gets back on the power now, still deploying the ERS, so sticking with this one through the tunnel here, the roar as he reverberates his V6 turbo hybrid engine, then into the Nouvelle chicane. over that sausage curb on the inside, did get away with it, all 4 tyres within the white lines, then to back one of the finest corners in Formula 1, 5th gear, accelerating all the way up to the swimming pool section, and again, grazing that wall slightly, cars stopping right and left, a massive distraction, and again, Jeroen misses the apex ever so slightly, the apex being the wall there at Larascas. I've sort of accidentally taken you through a full lap here, but either way, it gets a 108.9 on the board. Decent start, but work to be done.
Work to be done indeed. Yeah, Kai Pearson there was on a lap. He was the one that actually made contact with Benza as a result of that 5-place grid penalty. Louis Valentin, though, going quicker. Kai Pearson, though, putting himself into second. Current championship leader coming into tonight. There was a bit of controversy about Kai Pearson, him moving potentially to PC. He's here, though, in the flesh, which is always good to see in WOR, and I'm sure he's going to be committing himself to full season of WOR Console Tier 1 action out on track. But Louis Valentin, the Monaco specialist, you could call him, from his Legacy Division win, and indeed his pole position there as well early on in the season. Kai Pearson now in second, Sammy Chemsey there in third. But the championship protagonist to the fore is Furious. Definitely not going to be angry with that lap as he goes quicker by a 10th of a second over Louis Valentin. Furious, of course, formerly part of the Parnell Racing setup. Now, of course, a part of a different team, but Furious there, formerly Parnell Racing, out on top, 108.47. Very, very strong lap there from the Alfa Romeo, and possibly a little bit unexpected.
Yeah, he did qualify 9th in the WOR Legacy Division qualifying session around here, and although that was good considering the team circumstances, yeah, that's even better, putting it on provisional pole with a 108.4 so far. Liam Bowman out last, I think, at the moment to get his first lap on the board in this session. NVR Magician rounds the final corner, but it's an invalid one. If he's got enough fuel, he'll try and go again. Shizu Macho making his debut for this season as well in 18th at the moment. Not yet got a lap on the board. Deploying a lot of ERS, actually. I'm wondering whether this was an in lap and he invalidated his previous attempt. Regardless, he's cut the Nouvelle chicane, and this one won't count. So it's back to Liam Bowman, who again running slightly out of sync, and I do feel for him because it looks like he's not having a great time out there at the moment. He needs a miracle in the race when it comes to consistency, and yeah, he comes back into the pit lane, and that means only 16 are on the board.
Yeah, definitely so. MVR Nick, by the way, left the session, and I wonder if that actually off-put him coming through the piscine section, through the swimming pool section. Him rejoining the session obviously caused a bit of a frame drop, so I wonder if Liam Bowman has hit the curb, caused a bit of a frame drop, and that's why he's backed off that lap. It was looking good up until that point, though. He was very low on ERS, however, so I do not blame him actually coming into the pit lane. But the first runs are done. You can actually get probably 4 runs actually out on track here in Monaco as Nick there retires from the session. He's going to play no further part, but it's Furious there out on top, Louis Valentin there in second, Joe Murphy there in third. Joe Murphy has been showing some really, really good attribution there in third position as well. The Irishman has certainly been doing well for BRT in the Legacy Division, and of course picked up a podium finish a couple of weeks ago as well. And the Irishman looking to try and get on the board. Louis Valentin's only 1300ths of a second clear of him. He's clear then of Kai Pearson there in third by 300ths of a second, and then it's a 10th to Entel Zoom. So Joe Murphy there in third position, pretty much putting it up now with the best on Xbox and on PlayStation, which I think, from him, being Tier 2 champion last season, always good to see.
Yeah, it is indeed. Joe Murphy, no points on the board yet this season. You definitely need a good qualifying around here in Monaco, and this might completely change the fortunes of his entire season. A motivating start, to say the least. Furious only 4 points on the board. No points available for pole position, but we've seen Louis Valentin in the Legacy Division winning from pole. It's the position everybody desires to start from. And we could well see a new Tier 1 winner in the process tonight as well. 2 different winners, 2 different pole sitters in the first 2 races. I wonder if we could go 3 for 3 in both categories.
Potentially so, yeah, let's find out. Kai Pearson is the first that's just started up on a lap. I was wondering who was first on a lap, and it is Kai. Running up the hill now in towards the Casino Square section through Massenet and in towards the right-hander of Casino Square. And he's actually backed off on his lap, which is not good to see. Kai Pearson there clearly making a mistake through the first sector, and he's there in 4th position currently on his lap. Louis Valentin, though, is coming through the first sector, coming through that Massenet Casino Square section. But again, he's another one that seems to have backed off coming through this first sector. So potentially it is an absolute ploy from these drivers to maybe go for a little bit of a delta run and then go for their full run when, of course, they get going out on track. But it's Furious there out on top, Louis Valentine in second, Joe Murphy there in third. Interesting, though, both Kai Pearson and Louis Valentine backing off on their laps, and I think to conserve more than likely the tyres as well as the ERS around here, as I need to fix the El Gato again.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, oh, I'm sorry, I was just seeing Benzer. He's gone straight on. I wonder if that was tactical. He was trying to get back into the pits maybe earlier, but traffic again building up in the final sector. They get, I think, more than enough fuel actually out there on the circuit because it's a short track. I think you get at least, what, 3.8 laps worth of fuel as your minimum, whereas maybe in Spa you'd have about like 2.2. So again, maybe just drivers backing off. Louis Valentine now slowing down. Kai Pearson came back into the pit lane. It's chaos out there on the circuit. I don't know where to look because there's traffic in the final sector. There's drivers improving, including Volokongan, who's rounding the final corner at Anthony Noakes, crosses the line, goes up to P12 with a 109.1. So, yeah, honestly, James, it is just chaos.
Watch out for the Lindt Chocolatier, though, out on track. F7R Yossi absolutely flies it through the swimming pool section. He's 6/10 up on this lap and looking to put it bang on pole position, potentially with a 108.1 here, as Yossi now comes to the final corner on the run to line, on board with a Ferrari, and he goes quickest with a 108.2. Very, very good lap. That is how you do a final sector around here in Monaco. Is anybody actually improving on a lap? Louis Valentine was, but he was up in the first sector. He invalidated. Same with Sammy Chempsey, actually, as well. I was on board with him previously before going on board with Yossi, and he was improving by 3.5 tenths in that middle sector, then invalidated. So he would have actually gone quicker ahead of Furious. But Yossi now dominating the affairs out in front from from Furious there, sorry, in second. Louis Valentine in third, and Louis Valentine, by the way, responded in the middle sector, nearly 2/10 up on Yossi, but he is invalid on this lap. So it could have been a case of what could have been for the Aston Martins. He bails into the pit lane. Joe Murphy there as well. He looks like he's going to go for another one very shortly indeed. But Yossi there out on top, Furious there in second, Louis Valentine in third. I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Who are you supporting tonight? 61 of you tuning in, which I think is about as high as I've really seen for console tier 1 in recent weeks, which is good to see. We're on board there with the Irishman and Joe Murphy just on his lap, coming out through Sandevot at turn number 1, and we'll see what the Irishman can do. A 108.542. He has gone for a second run, probably on purpose to try and get the tyres and try and get the grip actually out on track. Hits there at the inside wall of Massenet. We're coming through the first sector. He looks very, very good as he's nearly in the wall, but he's actually 3/10 down, and Joe Murphy will not be improving after that moment coming through Casino Square.
A better moment for his teammate, though, who found a 10th. He's up now to a 108.3, still in the same position on that provisional front row, but he's got a 2/10 buffer to Louis Valentine. We saw him improve by 2/10 in the first sector alone, so yeah, indeed, this could be a really good scrap for the front row position so far. I don't know what you're looking at, to be honest, because I'm still cycling through.
I'm on board with Magician right down in 17th, and he has taken pretty much the weirdest but the quickest line, I think, coming through the hairpin. I've seen this on social media, where there's been quite a lot of flack for drivers on time trial taking this, and that's what he gets because he invalidates coming through the Nivelle chicane. That is very weird. He basically locked up second gear, tried to Tokyo drift it coming through the hairpin. Very popular on social media. Not popular with me, however. Magician, rightly, I think, invalidates his lap because of it.
Oh, big crash! We've got our first crash of the session. I jumped on board with him as he did it, right as he hit the wall. BRT Gabor, and he's clipped the inside wall at the Casino Square corner of turn 4. Tried to chuck it in early, and unfortunately, that front right tyre was never going to stay on with the speed that he hit it at. Unfortunate for Gabor, one of the best qualifiers, I think, on this grid. You need it at Monaco, but unfortunately, he'll be starting well down the order.
Benzer's just gone third as well on the Mercedes. He was out of sync, I think, towards everyone else out on the track. Sammy Chempsey is out of sync compared to everyone else. He's currently on that coming through the tunnel section and now in towards the Nivelle chicane, and has looked very, very good. I've got to say, the Canadian on this lap, of course, part of the Veloce Academy admin. Hello, by the way. Hope you are doing well, and hope you are covering the live action once again on Twitter. Sammy coming through the middle sector, 700s up on this lap, looking very, very good, very consistent on this lap. Hits the wall there slightly, actually negotiates the wall without really touching it, as now comes through the right-hander of Raskas and in towards Anthony Norge at the final corner, and he's taken that way too quickly through Anthony Norge. How on earth he's recovered that? Is he going to improve? No, he loses all the time coming through the final corner, but that was style point I've ever seen it from Sammy Champsey. They're in 8th position, should have improved, but didn't.
There's Julian in the live chat, perhaps just having a little bit of a nervous moment there as Sammy Champsey unfortunately unable to improve. His teammate, meanwhile, has just locked all fours, drifted round the Grand Hotel hairpin, and now goes down into Portier, where the last time a McLaren in those colours was relevant going into that corner, it was Jenson Button when he flipped over Pascal Wehrlein. Still has a 5 penalty serve to this day, we think. Anyway, through the Nouvelle Chicane now. How is he looking up against his teammate, who, of course, couldn't hook up the final sector? And at the first time of asking into Tabac, he again turns in too early. It's the second driver I've caught turning in too early around here. Fine margins at Monaco. No front wing for the McLaren.
Yeah, I've done that in my league race around here, and trust me, it hurts. And Enzo was improving in that middle sector before he did that, and was looking very, very good on that lap. But we've still got 4 minutes to go in the session, so there's time to repair that front wing, time to get him back on track, and time to get another lap in, which is crucial. Axe, by the way, is improving. The AlphaTauri, he nearly hits the wall coming out of Portier right at the roll, as Fern there has retired in the pit lane, I think that is. Or is that through the final corner? Is that a Raskas? I think he's crashed.
I don't know, but he's got nothing in terms of a rear right tyre, I don't think. So I think he was trying to come into the pit lane and maybe clip the inside wall. I'm honestly not sure, but that's one of the most bizarre places I've seen an accident around here in Monaco. Either way, he's down in 17th and on his first reserve appearance of this season. He made 3 last season, so tends to be readily available in that role. Again, not too much to shout about for the Magic Mexican.
No, unfortunate for Fern there, down in 17th position. Set a medium compound tires he's qualified on as well, so he's actually going to be limited unless we get, obviously, a restart, which I think we are getting with an illegal blocking from Liam Bowman and that 5-place grid penalty with Kai, and I think it was Benzer earlier on in the session. We are going to get that restart, of course, so Fern can start on the set of soft compound tire, or whatever tire he wants, of course, in this session. Volokongan, though, is on a lap right now. The Shazoo man running down the hill, the former Team Norway Racing man, now for Team Shazoo, as that Joe Murphy, I think, going 4th with a good lap there from the Irishman, again, out of sync towards everyone else. Volokongan, however, on this lap now coming in towards Tabac. We've seen drivers hit the wall there before, not Volokongan. He's 3/10 up in the middle sector, nowhere near the sort of Yossi Furious Benzer sort of time, but this is consistent from the Shazoo man, now coming in toward the right-hander of Raskas and in towards Anthony Norge, but he now bails into the pit lane. Has he got enough time, though, Joel, to get out of the pits? I think he does.
It'll be a tight turnaround. I mean, you're looking at about 1 minute 10 really for an outlap if you're pushing it, so he needs to get straight in, change the tyres, and then immediately press the button to go straight out on the circuit. Is Liam Bowman finally going to get a lap in? He's the only other driver, I think, apart from Joe Murphy at the moment, on a flying lap. He's made it to Anthony Noakes. He's really struggling really with the feel of the car, and can you blame him on this difficult circuit? He's gone 5th! Oh, that is amazing from Liam Bowman. I didn't think a 5th place lap time could ever excite me more, but it looked like he had no chance after his first 2 runs. That is mega to put it 5th.
And he's on a pad, right? He's on a pad.
Yes, yes.
Mubarak, watch out. That's all I'm going to say. Liam Bowman in 5th. A 108.452. These drivers, luckily, have got everything in their knack. They are so talented, they can even drive blindfolded if they want, and they can probably still try and do a lap around here in Monaco. And Liam Bowman, I think, has done that. They're in 5th position, on a pad for tonight. He's done a fantastic job so far. Furious there's 3/10 down in the first sector. Yossi is just starting up on a lap. I'm just trying to see as well. Kai Pearson is starting up on a run, and Louis Valentin is down in the lap as well. But that is a fantastic lap time by Liam Bowman. They do not call him the Flying Scotsman. Well, nobody does apart from me. But the Flying Scotsman there in 5th position. Race winner, of course, last week. He is there in the fight. And if people want to discount him at your peril.
Honestly, that still shocked me, actually, because I didn't feel like he was that confident at all, but, you know, he can double bluff and whatnot, and he'll just end up being there or thereabouts anyway. Yossi coming to the end of the second sector split now. He's been sliding at pretty much every corner, but sometimes in Monaco, that's the fastest way around. He's got 8 thousandths up at the moment. He's invalidated coming through turn 16. This is getting me on the edge of my seat now. Yossi has thrown away his chance to maintain or extend his advantage on pole position. Benz is invalidated in third. Can anybody beat the Swiss man?
Probably not. Enzo's down by a tenth of a second. He's the only one actually valid on a lap time right now. Coming now through into Danchinoge at the final corner through turns 18 and 19. Now on the run to the line here in Monaco with Enzo soon. Does he sue up to first? No, he doesn't. He goes 8th position with a 1:08.6. Not a bad lap time though, but he doesn't get another run. Kai Pearson does, but he's 3/10 down in the first sector. Louis Valentin is invalid. Furious is a 10th down, and Yossi is down in the first sector as well. So this all now really hinges on anybody coming out from further down the field. Oh, as there in the wall goes Schumacher crashing straight off in towards Raskas. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or maybe intentional from the man in 13th position. I think it might have been the latter. Out of frustration, might have invalidated just before that. Sammy Chemsey there stays in 9th position. Macho is invalid. Ryan is done. Volakongan is done as well. I think it's only Furious that could improve, but he's not, because he's back in the pit lane, bailing in, and he hit the wall, as you mentioned there. Yossi now out on top. Furious second. Benza there in third. Now, if I'm pretty much mistaken, nobody is on a lap, and that is the end of qualifying. So it is Yossi, the Swiss man, out on top, swirling that Swiss chocolate all around in that Ferrari car. Furious there in second, Benza there in third. And I've got to say, Joe, I mean, it's Monaco. The top three, Yossi, I would be honestly saying he should be top 3 every week. Furious and Benza, though, bit of a shock.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Furious, 2 laps, I think he had, and same with Yossi as well. Benza coming in late there and did get 3 runs in. So, again, I found it tough to predict. I didn't necessarily make a prediction, but Yossi, who statistically he had 1 reserve appearance last season, he won in that reserve appearance. This is his first this season, and he's taken pole. So you only need to give that man 1 opportunity, and he is very much likely to take it. But what surprised me though, so many drivers failing to improve on that final run. Front wings flying, it's just a death trap out there in Monaco. We've got multiple grid penalties that we need to rectify, so we'll be doing that with a restart.
We will be rectifying that with a restart for sure, but look at the top 4, only covered by a tenth of a second. It's Yossi there out on top, from Furious there in second, Benza there in third, Joe Murphy there in fourth. Liam Bowman, considering he's on a pad, is only 2/10 off Yossi, who's on a wheel. Fantastic effort from him. Louis Valentin, the king of Legacy Division, there in 6th, from Kai Pearson in 7th. Endel Soon there in 8th. Sammy Chemsey there in 9th. Disappointing for the Veloce Academy boys. They, I'm sure, will bounce back, though, in the race. Stefano there in 10th, with Axe there in 11th. Giron in 12th, then Gabor in 13th. Schumacher 14th. Then Macho 15th. Volakongan 16th. Ryan in 17th. Top 17. Covered by 8.5 tenths of a second. Then it's PSL Fern, the Mexican Magician, and then MBR who didn't get a lap time in. Magician actually invalidating his final run as well. Rafa Porto saying in the chat that was way too obvious for him. Guessing referencing Schumacher there. But what we are going to do is, it looks very overcast there out on track. What we are going to do though is take an intermission break from our sponsors, of course, Next Level Racing, and indeed Grid Finder, and a little bit of comment from Axe, by the way, in the Discord. Bowman out qualifying, Louis was not on my bingo card. We will leave you with those comments and those thoughts. We'll be back with you though in a few minutes, as soon as the lights go green. Welcome back, everyone, to WOR, to Console Tier 1, to Season 16, Round 3 of the Championship. It's the Monaco Grand Prix. It's still myself, James Head, and Mr. Joseph D'Ambrosio, not the brother of Jerome D'Ambrosio, unfortunately for you guys who might be tuning in at home. But, but Joe, coming into tonight, Liam Bowman taking that win last week in Britain, but a bit of a turn up for the Bucks because Yossi, that man there, who hasn't attended the first two races this season, out on top here in qualifying in Monaco. What can we expect coming into tonight here at the Circuit de Monte Carlo?
Well, 9 times out of 10, you'd expect Yossi to go on and win this race, with pole position being the most valuable here out of any circuit on this game. So I think that's just the fact that he wants to keep the lead into turn 1, and then he's got the best opportunity to go on and win. Simple as. But, you know, there'll be drivers behind him wanting to get the jump. There'll be drivers behind exploring the undercut. But again, it depends on who gets damage. It could be luck of the draw on lap 1 when it comes to, you know, unavoidable collisions and having to drive into the wall when a car's in your way. So again, a million different possibilities. One of them will determine this winner, though.
Yeah, one of them will determine the winner, indeed. I'm not sure if I caught Joe off guard there with coming onto the cameras, but there we are. It's all okay. It is all okay. The drivers are just beginning to ready up now in the lobby. They're very impatient, actually, these lot here tonight to try and get ready, but it looks like Ryan has got the go-ahead to ready up. That was a very quick turnaround, actually, for the lobby being reset, which is always good, and that is what we like to see. WOR Console Tier 1 will be beginning very, very shortly indeed. Evening to Avatar, evening to Supermon there in the chat, Reese Linton there in the chat as well, saying W's in the chat, and we expect to see some really good performances out on track tonight. But another big talking point actually coming into tonight, and what we didn't actually see and reference, I don't think, last week on the stream, was Kai Pearson's move to Vroom. And Kai Pearson definitely going to be an interesting character going forward in the season. He was up there in qualifying. How do we think the championship leader is going to get on tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was predominantly a move for the E series, I think, over in PSGL, which the French team qualified for. I was quite surprised when he decided that Veloce Academy wasn't his cup of tea and that he was going to move on, because he was just talking to me about the opportunities within that setup, of course, for the current Veloce Academy drivers, Veloce Elites, and then, of course, the numerous F1 Esports teams they have as well. But he's here, he's still very much actively participating in the console tier. He wants to get his hands on the rig. It would be an asset for him, of course, and he can take all that confidence that he's built from his time on console over onto PC. Difficult qualifying, but again, lack of practice at Monaco after being on PC for such a period of time. You'd expect it.
You would expect it. You would expect it indeed. And it's going to be really interesting, I think, this race, because we've got that dynamic of Yossi taking qualifying. Will he take the race win? We saw Louis Valentin do that in Legacy Division when we last came here. The last time we actually came here in console was Season 9, and it was Jake Benham that took the race win over CRG Pinecone, I think, that day on Xbox, because it was predominantly, of course, Xbox back then in Season 9 of WOR. And Jake Benham, of course, has gone on to bigger and better things now. Mercedes Esports driver, of course. CRG Pinecone did his better thing as well. I think he's a 3-time WOR champion off the top of my head, and has done a fantastic job actually transferring back into the world of sim racing and going forward with his career. And now in Season 16, we get to see drivers like Kai Pearson, like Liam Bowman, forging their own careers here in WOR Console Tier 1 and forging them at the best track of them all. Arguably, Monaco should be an interesting race, and I cannot wait for the action to start, and it should be getting going very, very soon indeed. Fern is asking in the Discord, how much fuel? Not filling me with much confidence, I've got to say, from Fern's perspective.
Just put enough in. If in doubt, overfuel it a lap, I think. At least here in Monaco. You are going to be saving a lot behind other cars in traffic as well, so just play it safe, Fern. I mean, you've not got a lot to lose and a lot to gain in this one, but you were mentioning previous Tier 1 winners. WOR Tier 1 here on console is a stepping stone, there's no doubt about it, for esports. and for the higher ends of sim racing, but it's also a platform for fun. It's also a platform to have moments like this, the jewel in the crown on a virtual calendar. And either way, take it away.
Yeah, Father would like to battle guide here for WOR Console Tier 1, round 3 of the championship, and it is lights out and away we go. Great race strategies popping up, but Yossi there leads down in towards Sandoval at turn number 1. Furious there alongside him, actually gets the inside line. It looks like there's a lot of desync going on coming up the hill here. Not sure if there's going to be a fix to this, but Yossi there leading the way. Furious there in second, Benza there in third. Hopefully you're staying with us, and hopefully this will get fixed as we go forward onto lap 2. There's a crash though further down the field, and that's Volakongan, who has crashed with Macho and Nick. Nick is dropping down the field as well. Everyone seems clean through though, in towards the hairpin. As I say, drivers now fixing themselves, and Furious there leading the way from Yossi there in second, but there's contact with the Grand Hotel hairpin and the VSC coming through the Grand Hotel hairpin, because I think Ryan there is in the wall along with Magician, not seeing if there's any damage. There is certainly though a Haas that is missing from wing, and that's BLT's Gabor.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there at the start. Enzo got into some contact at the casino. I think his teammate was on the inside. I think there was a Red Bull in the middle, and Enzo was just diverted into the barrier. Gabor had a separate incident. I think this is what the VSC's been deployed for, his need for a front wing change. So he'll take that cheaper pit stop. Not necessarily cheap, because he'll drop right to the back of the order, but it was just chaos in there. Lots of ghosting, potentially some desync, as Furious has the lead, I think for the first time in his WOR Crossplay Tier 1 career. And what a time to get it at the first corner on the first lap.
Yeah, and a lot of drivers actually into the pit lane. I think more for strategy calls rather than anything, as Jeroen has hit the back of Nick there into the pit. But we're back underway. Furious apparently leads by 1 minute and 23 seconds. That is not the case, because he's actually flown away by more than a second from Yossi there in second, Benza there in third, and Joe Murphy all over the back. The battle of the Celts down in towards the right-hander of Mirabeau Bass, as now comes through the right-hander into the left-hander of the Grand Hotel hairpin. Benza there, Joe Murphy all over the back of him, and Liam Bowman right in the background there as well. It's Benza there, sorry, in third, not Liam Bowman. Liam Bowman is in behind in fifth. Then Louis Valentine, Sammy Chemsey, Clive Pearson, Schumacher and Axe top 10. And then a big gap, of course, with everyone coming in the pits. Most of them going onto a set of medium compound tyres. Potentially could get them to the end of the race. 38 laps, I think, is impossible, though, to get around here. But Furious there leading the way. Certainly not Furious with his start. And look at the gap. It must already be about 2 seconds, the gap over Yossi. Benza there in third, and Yossi actually crouched the wall there, coming through the swim pool section. I'm not sure if he's got front wing damage on that car, but the Swiss man certainly coming out of its comfort zone early on.
We've got 10 drivers that have all made pit stops. We've got 10 that have stayed out. There's been an overtake. Gabor, of course, who definitely had a cheaper pit stop when you look at it that way. Now onto a set of softs, trying to push on and see what he can do. But I'm looking at the Ferrari in second place, Yossi, because look how much time he's lost. Even if that is lime wing damage or orange or whatever, it still could be worth up to a second a lap in terms of lap time. Just any loss of downforce. He's struggling. He's ghosting through the Grand Hotel hairpin. So again, I'm not really sure how to comment on this one, but he's losing so much time, and Furious can just burn, can extend that gap that he's got at the moment, and he's looking so much more comfortable already.
Yeah, he's channeling his inner man in P6, I think, right now, as Furious there leading the way. Yossi there in second, Benza in third. Joe Murphy, though, all over the back of Benza. That set of hard compound tyres might be good with durability towards the end of the race. Mediums, though, much more pacier in the first half of the race, and that's why Joe Murphy wants to try and get this job done on the back of Benza. Looks to the outside and towards the Raskas, now in towards Anthony Noj, and he's all over the back of him, nearly too tight onto the back of him, coming out through. The DRS now enabled, of course, at the end of lap 3, and it's Furious there leads, Yossi there in second, Benza there in third, as we see Schumacher into the pit lane as well, and he, I think, has picked up front wing damage on the left side end plate, so I wonder if Schumacher is in, or if it's just a tactical stop. He has indeed lost his front wing, so Schumacher into the pit lane, so the hard compound tyres go on. He might get to the end of the race if he's very lucky, but the tyre wear is certainly not going to be in his favour at the better part of the race. Jensen Randall there, Mr. Jensen, the WOR Console Tier 1 champion back in the day. Should have done my bet builder for this race, and that was on my bingo card, as he says. As Magician, was that on your bingo card? Crashing out there through the right-hander into... In fact, he's retired in the pit lane, so Magician retires there in the pit lane. That's one out. Furious there leads, though. 3.9 nearly 4 seconds, actually, the gap over Yossi, and it's extending all of the time. Furious has gone. He hopes that there's no safety car incoming because he's absolutely flying.
He's seen enough, though, has the reserve driver in Magician, but Furious is loving life out at the front of the field. 4.1 now the gap, and an even bigger indicator. I feel like that Yossi has some sort of minor front wing damage after clipping the wall on the exit of the swimming pool section at turn 16. Despite being on the hard tyres, yes, they are more durable, and obviously a lot less quick in terms of raw pace, as Fern has gone straight on at the Nouvelle chicane, another driver to make an early mistake. But honestly, it's just baffling me so far this race. I think we've had 11 front wing changes, maybe in the first 5 laps alone. Stick that on your bet builder, over 20 front wings broken. That might pay out quite a lot of money.
I think it will. It's probably bet 100-1, say, maybe in terms of odds. Jensen will be getting a 5 on that. 500 quid coming his way. Jobs are good. And Gabor on the back of Stefano. Don't, if you're underage, by the way, do not bet. It's not worth it. Gabor on the back of Stefano. 10th and 11th position, running down the hill in towards Mirabel. Set us off compound tyres on the BRT man's car after losing his front wing, of course. Stefano, though, in 10th, will give him a very, very good, very good battle, actually, coming out through in towards the back and then in towards, Portier, and then down the tunnel section into the Nouvelle chicane. And Gabor is all over the back of him. He's not going to get the job done from that far back. Luke there in the chat mentioning Kai Pearson's going to go on a 2-stop. Well, he could be, because he has actually lost his front wing on the right of end plate damage. He's into the pit lane, and then there's another front wing change for Kai Pearson, as he is in the pit lane, and the championship leader in strife. Set a hard compound of tyres on. He's in strife there for Kai Pearson, but he's there in 8th position, and he could come out potentially right in the middle of Gabor, Enzo, and Nick here.
That's not good. He had a lot of free will with that strategy, and he exits the pit lane behind 3 cars. He was certainly not expecting to race at this point. That is such a shame for our championship leader, Kai Pearson, but it does, of course, open up the door for the likes of Sami Shemsi, for Liam Bowman, both still running in the top 7 at the moment. Kai out of the points. Might well make a second pit stop in this one, but really big mistake from the man that does want to get past Monaco, as I think that was going to be one of the biggest obstacles of the season in terms of him and the Tier 1 Championship. Furious, meanwhile, at the end of lap 6, almost 6 seconds out in front, again indicating that potential damage that Yossi has is costing him up to a second a lap.
It is indeed, and Luke there mentioned in the Discord that 12 people have pitted in with damage. A Magician also mentioned about his setup. It wouldn't let him put it on because apparently the game bugged and he couldn't use his MFD, and he can't use anything before the race to change the tyres or put the setup on, which is why you've seen Magician there retire out of the race in the early stages. Do not blame him. I mean, I was in that situation once in a league race where I had no setup and I ended up finishing 12th and only scraping a point because it was literally limited point, extended points. And I had no setup on, and I finished 12th in one of my league races. But that was back in the day. This is in the now, and Fern there has retired in the pit lane as well. So the Mexican is out of the race. The PSL man down at the back of the field. Ferrari, the second one to retire. It's difficult because you've already picked up that front wing damage. Difficult to get in the mental zone. Just try and find a little bit. If there's no safety cars on this track, which normally there isn't, but we saw one, of course, in Tier 2 a little bit earlier on. But if we do see a safety car, groups everyone back together. So just continue on, I would say. Best to hope, and but best to hit and hope even. But Furious there leading the way, 6.6 seconds. Yossi there in second. Yossi, to be fair, is continuing on with that damage. 6.7 seconds the gap, and Furious is making Louis Valentin look very ordinary here, because Louis there down in 6th. He is going for that 20-second win that Louis Valentin set the bar in Legacy Division earlier on.
I don't know what the biggest win margin ever is in WOR. Tier 1, that is, anyway, because I imagine there's been some pretty big mismatches down the years in WOR. That third is... Oh, he got in the way there of Louis Valentin, his retired car. He ended up drifting going into Portier. And, well, goodness me, that almost went sideways into the barrier. Good car control, you have to say, from Louis, who continues to be stuck behind Liam Bowman. But, as you said, this is an astonishing performance so far from Furious. Take nothing away, despite, you know, Yossi's struggles here to say these. But he can go longer. He can, you know, just sit out this pain a little bit. Nobody's close and nobody's looking like he's going to overtake him. So, again, an indication of just how good Furious' pace here, because even with Benza and Joe Murphy behind, they've just not got enough still to overtake.
Yeah, definitely so. Dawid, by the way, mentioned in the chat that I've been in every situation under the sun when it comes to league racing. Don't try and go around the outside of somebody at the castle section in Baku. I'm just going to say that out there right now on the stream in WOR Console Tier 1. Don't. It'll come back to haunt you. Fury's there leading the way. Yossi there in second. Benjamin third. Joe Murphy there in fourth. Louis Valentine is hustling the back there of the Scotsman. Liam Bowman. Sammy Chempsey as well there in seventh. Championship protagonist early on. Looking quite good. Liam Bowman certainly looking good, along with Sammy Chempsey there in seventh. For Kai Pearson down in 10th. In that second group almost. When it comes to undercuts, he'll be right there. But if there's a safety call, group the field all back together, and I think that's what they would prefer rather than anything else. Macho is the next one to come into the pit lane. It's going to be his second front wing change. I think as Gabora's crash into the Nobel chicane at the casino square, and it's a safety car. Safety car, and he's done the same thing as he did in qualifying.
He has. Oh, no, you cannot be making the same mistake twice. Furious comes into the pit lane from the race lead. Fortunately, he didn't pass the pit lane before the safety car was deployed, but oh, Gabor, we don't like to see that at all. Yossi stays out. He's going to take the race lead here on track. Benza also stays out. Joe Murphy comes in, become the second Alfa Romeo to do so. Bowman following in as well. Louis Valentine stayed out. Sammy Chempsey comes in. Axe F1, and everybody behind has already made a pit stop. They will have a cheap opportunity to do another. They'd be silly not to behind this safety car.
Yeah, definitely so. Salahog compound ties on for for Liam Bowman, Joe Murphy, and Sammy Chempsey. All into the pit lane. You'd imagine everyone else would come in to the pit lane. Potentially, we could see Kai Pearson on a set of mediums. I'm thinking he's going to come into the pit lane, and he is going to go on to a set of softs. Set a soft compound tie for Kai Pearson. I don't think the mediums can get to the end of the race, which is why I'm a league racer turned commentator, so probably not best to go with my strategies here in the commentary box. But Kai Pearson there in 11. Set a soft compound ties. Everyone else ahead of him, Joe, though, on a set of hard compound ties. Kai Pearson, when it comes to everyone being grouped together, surely is going to fly through the field and try and get moves done, like we saw Liam Bowman do last week in Silverstone.
It's easier said than done at Monaco, unfortunately for him, but he has made that second pit stop. A lot of others behind have done so. Schumacher, a little bit of an anomaly in that midfield there as well. 6 laps done on those hard tyres. That's enough to maybe cause some carnage, and I'm not being... I'm not suggesting that based on his Season 2 appearance in Monaco in the WOR Legacy Division, but, we've seen just how interesting things can get when we have these differing tyre strategies. Furious might be a little bit frustrated for the next few laps, but it's just about patience as these guys at the front wear out their 10-lap-old hard tyres. Then they'll come into the pit lane, and then it'll be an alternate dash to the finish line because, well, Yossi will have... possibly a front wing chain, Benza, Louis Valentine, some clean air as well to try and push onto the back of Furious. Still a lot to play for here tonight.
Yeah, still lots to play for. We're only in the early stages of the race, still only on lap 11 out of 39, so this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to throw a spin on things, though. When it comes to the front three, now, you probably are going to see where I'm going with this, because I've been on about them quite a lot recently, the two teams. F7R and OP. Yossi, has he done this potentially to rattle the cages of OP? Or is he just thinking about his own race? As Liam Bowman has picked up a severe collision penalty for hitting the back of Furious. And I'm not sure if Furious slowed down there coming in toward Portier. Liam Bowman has got in the back of him. I don't think he's got any front wing damage. I'm just trying to see on my end if he has. If he has, it's right side end plate damage if it is. But Liam Bowman, I think, has got away with that. He has indeed got away with that. So Liam Bowman there in 5th. Having that 5-second penalty, that will get removed, as he's just mentioned actually in the Discord, that will get removed. Keep the heritage result on, he says in the Discord as well. And Liam Bowman there in 5th on the back of Furious. He feels like he can get that removed. Joel, did you see what happened there? Because I didn't.
No, I didn't either. I was flicking up and down the field as I always do. But again, it's just one of those things where you just going a bit too quickly, and the driver in front a little bit too slowly, and you just touch, and any graze might well be a 5-second penalty as given by the game. But coming back to your previous question about F7R rattling the cages of OP, I don't know, but I'm surprised not to see Yozzy in there. I think that if he does have damage, and if that is the reason why he is struggling, then he would have lost a lot more track position than he would staying out and trying to be the leader at the front of the field, which I think is completely fair enough. So from my point of view, no, I don't think there's any team games going on here.
Yeah, if there was, it would be very entertaining, put it this way. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there is. F7R's Yozzy leading the way. I think he's thinking about himself more than anything else. He might not be just confident on those hard compound tyres, and that's what it might be. He might just not have any single pace compared to the man who was ahead of him in Furious. And Furious now down in P4. He's going to get the block on, quite literally. He's going to park the bus, is Yozzy, quite literally, with Benz and Louis Valentin in behind. And it could now Constantine up, because Furious there, Liam Bowman, Joe Murphy, Sammy Champsey, all on those fresh set of hard compound tyres. They are going to be really cooking to try and get some overtakes done. But indeed, they're going to now fall foul, potentially, of being out of position towards everyone else in the front three. So there's that interesting dynamic, I think, when it comes to the race. Everyone on the fresh compound tyres, the safety car is going to be in this lap, so we'll get to see what is going to happen. But I think with the key to this race is Furious is on the fresh set of hard compound tyres. He needs to make overtakes, ideally within the next 3 laps, to really secure him a good result late on. Yozzy, Benz and Louis Valentin have all got to work together, whether they like it or not. They've all got to work together to try and fend off Furiously and Bowman and Joe Murphy, and then maybe hope for another safety car so they can come in for a set of medium compound tyres. But let's find out what is going to happen here as we now come through Anthony Norge at the final corner, and the Swissman Yozzy now gets us back underway. Still hasn't gone though, drivers are piling in through Anthony Norge, and there's contact with Stefano and Axe in the background, but Yozzy there now leads across the line. It's a bit of a dangerous restart. Louis Valentin though is side by side with Benza through turn 1 at Sander Bottom. Benza gets back at him through turn 1. Now Furious on the background in through Massenane Casino Square. Louis Valentin is going side by side with Benza around the outside through Massenane. Can he get this one done? No. Furious around the outside of Casino Square. Beautiful move by him. Absolutely got that one stuck. And he's through and he's into third, and Liam Bowman trying to follow the way through as well. On those fresh on the hards, oh, and he chops up Louis Valentin right at the death. Sammy Champsey to the inside on the Veloci Academy man goes piling in. They've all piled into the hairpin in behind. Yozzy's got away with that scot-free. Benza in second, but let's talk about Furious. Brilliant move, and now he's on the back of Benza.
He is indeed. That was ridiculous, all of that. From the restart to the hairpin, nothing in that was clean. Let's just say that. Furious, though, piling the pressure onto the back of Benza. Bowman with the 5 seconds, of course. Louis Valentin's been in the wall twice, so it'll be an absolute miracle if he doesn't have any damage on the front of that Aston Martin. Sammy Shemsey will have a great opportunity. Joe Murphy's been around. He's facing the wrong way. Coming through the swimming pool section. He's stuck, I think. He's getting it into reverse and is away again. Furious, though, on the back of Benza and around the outside into the first corner at Saint-Devot. The gap was just there, but any more movement left for OP Benza, it could have ended in a crash. Here he comes again to the top of Massenet, and now through the Casino Square, bend into the right hand, and no room there for Furious. He gets on the overtake button again, but still no way through in the tightest part of the circuit. Sammy Shemsey goes down the inside at Portier. Oh my word, that was a sensational move from the Canadian driver, and he gets past now the struggling Frenchman.
Oh, and there's Kai Pearson down the inside of Schumacher as well, into the Grand Hotel hairpin, and he gets that one done. That's brilliant from Kai Pearson. Those fresh set of softs are definitely coming into play, but the fresh set of hards coming into play as well, because Furious is again on the back of Benza, and he is going to be absolutely willing, the man in the Mercedes, to just get out the way and let him through. Furious there in third, possibly raging at the back of the Mercedes, coming out through the right-hander at the swimfield section, and he's still all over the back. But this is Monaco. This is where you've got to get your cojones out. You have got to get them out and really be ballsy with the moves. And Furious has got to do this now and really commit to these moves because he damn well needs them, I think. Liam Bowman is in the background with that 5-second penalty, of course. He could overhang that, or it could be removed. Of course, if we get another safety car at the end of this race, Benza on the back of Yossi up the hill, same with Furious, but they remain in the top 3 right now. But Furious is all over the back of Benza. He's got to use those fresh compound tyres to good effect, and in towards Mirabo, I think he's going to do exactly that, to the outside line, in towards Mirabo. But Benza is becoming the Minister of Defence for OP right now, and the Minister of Defence for Mercedes, but not for long, because there goes the Alfa Romeo around the outside into the Grand Hotel hairpin. Now in towards Portier, they're still side by side coming through here. Yossi benefiting from this, pulling away out in front, and now Liam Bowman could make it 3 wide through the tunnel section. This is absolutely ridiculous racing between the 3 of them, and now Furious is side by side with Benza again, down into the Nivelle chicane, just about fitting through. Bit of damage there, I think, for Benza on the left side, but he's got through. Furious through and he's into second. That is Monaco's racing at its absolute finest. Furious, you had to get your cojones out, and by God he did.
Overtake by any means necessary. Bowman jumps the chicane coming through turn 16. It's another penalty. It's been a stellar drive so far, but now has a 3 seconds on top of that 5 seconds that he wants to appeal. He's gaining on Benza. He's going to go down the inside. Max Verstappen-esque what he did in 2015, just without the catastrophic crash. Brilliant move from Liam Bowman.
Brilliant.
There's still contact up the hill on the 44-metre climb to Massenet, and he's through into third. That gives him a big boost, especially if, like we were just mentioning, Benza did pick up any damage from the contact with Furious. It's so hard to tell because pieces don't always come off when the cars have damage.
Yeah, definitely not. Yossi, by the way, in front, I'm not sure if he does have damage. I'm not sure if just the tyres were not switched on, but he's certainly looking a lot more comfortable. Saying that, though, Furious is side by side with him at the tunnel section, and Yossi nearly moves across on him. Furious to the outside line into the Nivelle chicane. I think he's going to try and get the battle out breakers here. Now switch to the back, in towards the back. Can he get this job done? He's on the outside line through to back. Yossi gives him room. Yossi on the inside line hangs on, but he's still coming through the swimming pool section. There's going to be contact and carnage if they're not careful. Yossi there leading, Furious in second, but here comes the Flying Scotsman chewing his way into third position, right on the back of this train. But I think he's just got damage coming through Raskas, if I'm not mistaken. That bit of a ghost there indicates he hit the wall. Furious there on the back of Yossi, still in towards turn number 1. Yossi remains in front, Furious in second, but Liam Bowman, I think, did hit the wall coming through Raskas.
Oh no, this is bad, Benza, no, that was all going so well, and now I think this, oh no, frustration in this mid-fight.
Oh my
I don't know what to say here. Sami Shemsi went up the inside at Sandebot, Benza sort of retaliated, turned right, Axis crashed.
Safety car.
It's going to be a second safety car, it is, it calms everyone down. But oh my goodness me, how can you keep up with what we're seeing here tonight? I can't believe this.
Neither can I. 5-second penalty for a severe collision for Stefano on the back of Louis Valentin. Monaco lives up to its expectations sometimes, and put it this way, this race is living up to its expectation, plus more, I think. Yossi has got lucky, I think, still leading the race. Furious there in second, Liam Bowman there in third. ET8 Evil marking the point, as I said earlier on in commentary. Schumacher's crossed the white line and has got a 5-second penalty for entering the pit, from exiting the pit lane and crossing the white line, a pit entry, or pit exit even. Evil there saying in the chat, that's why Furious wanted to get ahead so fast, because he wanted to try and get out of the way for a safety car. But actually, is this going to work in his favour, Evil? Because Furious has stayed out, Yossi is in, and I think the likes of Louis Valentin, Kai Pearson are into the pit lane as well. Set of medium's going to be on. Furious on a set of hards. They can make the end of the race. He's got track position now over everyone else. Is that a good call from Furious there to stay out? I think potentially it is.
I mean, he's got a 4-car buffer behind him now, doesn't he? So he is in still a very good position. Those tyres should comfortably get to the end as well. A lot of drivers coming in there to take their mandatory pit stop. Yossi did not have a front wing change, so whatever was going on with him, he's decided that no, it's fine, we can carry on. Benza did have a front wing change, but still rejoins as the second running medium runner at the moment. Then it's Ryan up to that third spot, and then Macho, who already made a pit stop 4 laps ago, sort of a spanner in the works in that midfield fight as well. Louis Valentine, Kai Pearson, both in there as well. Enzo, Jeroen, Nick, who we've not really spoken too much about. He started last due to a qualifying ban after overreactive defending on Tim last week. He's up in 14th. I think there's still a pretty high ceiling for anybody remaining in this race. Credit to Joe Murphy for carrying on after he was backwards. He rejoins the action in P15, but I don't know, is what I'm going to say. I still don't know, but Furious might still be feeling the nerves.
Yeah, put it this way, count your lucky stars, count your lucky chickens, count whatever's lucky, I think, on your end, because this race is going to get a hell of a lot more controversial, and maybe a little bit more carnage towards the end of the race, as Macho Lewis came in to the pit lane. I think maybe a little mistake, putting them on that sort of soft compound side, but it means, though, he can put the mediums on to the end of the race, but he's going to be out of sync towards everyone else now, out on track, unless people in behind coming back into the pit lane. Macho, though, on that sort of mediums, it's only a lap fresher. A lap fresher mediums only gets you about 4% per lap around here. So Macho's going to be 4% fresher than every single man on that set of medium compound tyres out on track. Schumacher's the only other one to come in the pit lane, but I think it's because he's got that 5-second penalty, which he's serving up in the pit lane, which is fair enough for him. Schumacher there spending in the pit lane, medium compound tyres going on. He now comes out of the pit lane. They're down in 16th position, but Furious there leading the way. Liam Bowman in second, Sammy Chempsey there in third. What this does do, though, Joe, Kai Pearson down in 10th, current championship leader. Remember, 40 points for him coming into tonight. His nearest 2 rivals, Sammy Chempsey, currently in third, Liam Bowman currently in second, are having an absolute field day. Kai Pearson needs more luck, I think, in this race to try and hang on to that championship lead as it stands.
Honestly, I think he'll get it, because we've seen the fights that have occurred already between drivers on different strategies. They've not always been clean. They've resulted in damage in the case of Benza. And honestly, I think that's set to continue. I don't want to have that negative outlook on this race. Positive if you love entertainment. But I think there is going to be some net gains soon. For Kai Pearson. He's made 2 pit stops in this race. Has anybody made more? He's made 3 pit stops in this race, along with Enzo, Jeroen, Nick. Macho's been in 5 times, Schumacher 4 times. I don't think it'll be the last safety car, and I certainly don't think it will be the end of the mayhem. So, again, you've just got to hope he stays out of it.
Yeah, definitely so. Macho and Schumacher, by the way, 5 and 4 stops. Very, very hard, I think, to try and get back from making all those pit stops, all of that time loss, but obviously with the safety car, negates them back into contention potentially. 15th and 16th position, do not count them out potentially later on in the race. But the roll call currently underneath the safety car is as follows. On lap 20 out of 39, Furious leading the way from Liam Bowman in second, who has got a 8-second penalty. 1 5 seconds, 1 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 1, as he mentioned in Discord, potentially could be removed. Sammy Chempsey there in third, Stefano there in fourth. Stefano's got, I think, 2 5-second penalties and a 3 seconds, so he's done 13 seconds worth of penalties. Nobody else further down the field has. It's Volakongan in 5th, Yossi in 6th, Benza 7th, then Ryan and 8th, Louis Valentine there in 9th, the whole host of OP men behind an F7 man and Yossi. Kai Pearson then rounding off the top 10 for Vroom TM. Then Enzo in 11th from Jeroen in 12th, Nick in 13th, Joe Murphy 14th, Macho in 15th. Both him and Nick have got 3 seconds penalties, and Schumacher there in 16th, 2.8 seconds, but he rejoins at the back, and it's now safety car in this lap. So Joe, going to be an interesting restart this. Furious leading the way, Liam Bowman in second. We saw with Yossi how late he was going. Is Furious going to do the same here?
Yeah, I wonder, and well, it seems to be the best sort of method for making sure the car behind stays behind. But I think Furious is gone. Yeah, he's certainly committed full throttle. We're back away and racing. There's a 7/10 gap already to Liam Bowman. 9/10 behind is Sammy Shempsey. Some big gaps and hopefully no contact going into the first corner. We've still got cars making their way around the Raskas. So he's evened out the field nicely, has PR Furious. I have to say that was very smart from him. He's now not really under as much pressure as he might have been if everybody behind was tight and compact. Yossi already on the charge, looking to get past Volakongan. But Mirabeau, not Portier, was making that mistake earlier. He stays behind.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Oh, actually very close to the back there, Yossi, on the back of Volakonga, the Norwegian, and the Swiss man have had their fair share of controversy back in the past in PSGL, but Yossi and Volakonga now looking to try and go side by side through the tunnel. Yossi is catching, he's using up a lot of overtake mode though, to try and get this job done down into the Nivelle chicane. Much later on the brakes, cannot find a way through though. That's just the nature and the part and parcel of this circuit here. Tim there saying in the chat, chaos incoming, and people on mediums will run out of patience at some point. I agree. I think they will. Yossi especially will run out of patience because he has got a very short fuse, and my word, that was a recovery and a half from Yossi. Snap of oversteer midway through the corner there. Now he's on the back of Volakonga, and if he takes this into turn one, remarkable stuff from Yossi. Outside line, turn one, job done. After that snap of oversteer, I thought that was it. I thought he had it, but Yossi turns a negative into a positive. Through he goes into fifth, and he's got patience as a virtue to really now sit himself potentially behind Sammy Chemsey and Stefano. But Yossi through and he's into fifth. That was crucial.
Honestly, it's incredible the level of car control you have to have. The drivers are setting up their cars to be able to drift around corners and to be able to slide it through as well. So even if you have an accidental one, which it looked like that was, you know, it's a good job he's got a car today designed for that. Is he going to overtake Stefano? He's let him through. Ooh, okay, there's some team games going on there between Stefano and Yossi.
Ooh.
Different constructors. Benza in the background sneaking ahead of Volakonga. That seemed like a late dive bomb. But Ferrari and Williams swapping there, of course, both with the F7R tag. Has been seen before, has sort of just been waved away in the past. But some interesting tactics there to allow Yossi that extra position.
Yeah, I think it's fair play from Stefano. Obviously, he's got those aging tyres, so I think the overtake would have been done anyways if they were to have it out on track. Speaking of having it out on track, Ryan on the back of Volakonga into turn one, and Sander Bott doesn't get the job done, does the Alpine, but this now opens the door for the king of Monaco. Louis Valentin to come storming at him up through Massenet and into Casino Square, and he's up the inside line in towards Massenet. Cannot find a way through. I saw a race around here on this game. 4 overtakes around the outside of Massenet. These guys are lagging behind that right now. Furious there leading the way from Liam Bowman in second. Sammy Chemsey there in third. Furious, 52% of ERS. Liam Bowman there in second. There was a yellow flag, and I think that might have been for Macho. Up the inside line of Joe Murphy. Bit of contact there coming through that part of the track. Stefano there in fifth, Benza there in second. Now Benza is side by side with F7O Stefano, but Stefano letting him through. And that's fair play again from Stefano. He's clearly playing, I think, in terms of his tyres, trying to get them and nurture them to the end of the race and maybe try and force the medium compounder tyres out of their comfort zone. But Yossi already on the back of Sammy Chemsey and Liam Bowman. Now, Yossi and Sammy Chemsey, Legacy Division in the Netherlands, they had contact, I believe. Same with Liam Bowman in that race as well. And now we have ourselves the game scenario once again here in WOR Console Tier 1 with the 3 of them running second, third and fourth.
History does tend to repeat itself in WOR. Here comes Yossi, he's burning! Oh no! As Sammy Chemsey made the block, Yossi hit the back of the McLaren. And, oh, that was almost a lot worse from that point of view that I had. But either way, down in towards Mirabeau then for the 24th time. Still cars piling in behind, looking to make moves. It was Joe Murphy that had the front wing damage and the yellow flag caused, by the way. There's been 4 drivers into the pit lane, I think all for front wing changes. So the carnage in the background certainly continues as Yossi continues on his way. And again, another block from Sammy Chemsey. And it was a brilliantly timed defensive manoeuvre as he sees the Swiss drivers stay at bay.
Yeah, Evil saying in the chat he got lucky with that. He did. Yossi got very lucky with that indeed. So did Sammy Chemsey, to be honest, because I think the way I think it was going to happen, Yossi would have contacted the back end of Sammy Chemsey and then put Sammy in the wall rather than Yossi, and Yossi would have got away, potentially got free from that. But the battle continues on. Literally, as soon as I said they could have made contact in the Legacy Division, look what happened with them in towards Massenet. I swear I do not script this race whatsoever. Furious there leading the way. Liam Bowman in second, Sammy Chemsey in third. There's trouble for Nick down into the Nivelle chicane. I think he's gone straight on, and actually he's had contact with Schumacher. He's got no front wing on that car, so Schumacher there in 15 might potentially, if he can get the car around, he'll have to come back in the pit lane. Schumacher there in 15. We'll have to watch him very carefully as he now comes in towards the Rascar section think he's going to get back in the pit lane now. And Nick actually, Tokyo drifts into the pit lane. I've never seen that before. He retires. Schumacher may as well retire as well. Both of them are pretty much done out of this race unless there's a late safety car. But Furious there leading. Yossi once again on the back of Sammy Chempsey. And again with a block from the Veloce Academy man. Julian there in the chat is going to be absolutely loving this because Yossi there in fourth has to try and find a way through on Sammy Chempsey. But all of this, though, Yossi bringing Liam Bowman now into play for the championship. Kai Pearson down in 10th, still remaining that way. Liam Bowman would take the race lead as it stands. Or the championship leader, sorry, as it stands.
Yeah, that 8-second penalty to be applied still as well. Potentially 5 could get appealed from that, as we said earlier on in the race. F7R Yossi having such a hard time getting past Sammy Chempsey, who's doing an absolutely mega job of defending. Joe Murphy's had a corner cut.
My word!
Yeah, that was down at the Nouvelle Chicane. Here they go down the hill, and that is an AlphaTauri getting in the way there. Liam Bowman, I think, had a slide and ghosted there momentarily. Contact there still again twice, I think, as Yossi gets in behind there. Sammy Chempsey. Joe Murphy is out in the pit lane.
Oh my God!
Piling in behind. This is Louis Valentine up the inside of a Red Bull. That's Nick, who's halfway around the circuit. I'm so confused because there's now lapped and retired traffic getting in the way.
It is retired traffic getting in the way indeed. Louis Valentine is side by side with Volokong. And what I think that did do, though, I think Kai Pearson might have picked up a little bit of damage in that. I'm not sure if there was a bit of light wing end plate flying off the car. It looked to me as if it was. It might have been Nick's car, actually, that picked up the damage, but it was certainly everyone battling into each other. Kai Pearson looks good, I've got to say, in towards Raskas. We'll see if he actually bails into pit lane. He doesn't, so it must have been Nick's AI car that actually picked up the damage. Again, very weird circumstances there between the lot of them. Furious there leading the way, Liam Bowman in second, Sammy Chempsey in third, Yossi in fourth, and here comes Yossi again, the Swiss man to the inside line, now towards Massenet. Sammy Chempsey can't fight that one, but he makes a bit of oversteer actually into the corner. Sorry for Sammy Chempsey because he's there on the inside line. Sammy's got damage. Yossi through and he's into third. I'm going to rewind that one back because it looked like Yossi had that inside line, but he's gone far too late on the brakes there, Yossi. And unfortunately for him, Yossi there in third. And it's now all beginning to unravel because Ben's are side by side with Volokongan. Ryan and Kai Pearson are side by side. And Enzel Soom now falls to the inside line on Kai Pearson. This is like Groundhog Day here in Monaco. Kai Pearson now on the back, getting out of the way. More lap traffic retiring. That's Joe Murphy's car, even retiring in the pit lane coming out. Kai Pearson and Enzel Soom still trying to fight this. But goodness me, this race is mad. Furious leading the way. Liam Bowman in second. Yossi there in third. What I think we can say, though, with Joe, with absolute confidence, Furious is on course to win this race. Absolute given. As Louis Valentine and Stefano are side by side into Anthony Norris. This is not going to end well. But it does end well, and Louis Valentine gets the job done. Brilliant stuff.
I can't tell if this is the worst or best thing I've ever seen. It's there somewhere, because honestly, I am confused. I am baffled at what we're seeing. Sammy Chempsey with another double block up the top of Massenet. He's hit the wall. He's got damage. Everyone behind is going to be in a train, and Louis Valentine's got no choice but to blimmin' send it as he hits the back of Sammy Chempsey. I've lost it now, James. Oh, oh my words. Oh, come on.
Out of context, Formula One is going to have a field day, I think, with this race. Furious there leading the way. Liam Bowman in second. Yossi there in third. Yeah, I think it's absolute madness. Honestly, it's like a 5-lap open lobby around here. And these are Tier 1 drivers, by the way. You're not seeing anything in Back to the Future in 1985 as there's damage in behind. And Kai Pearson has lost his front wing, as is Jeroen. Kai Pearson in strife once again here in Monaco. Nearly hits the one to the back. Very lucky to continue on. Kai Pearson there in 11th, though. Jeroen in 12th. They both piled into each other into the Nouvelle Chicane. That's what happens, unfortunately, when Monaco unravels and when the drivers get a little bit too antsy. And there's Benza to the inside on Volokongan getting the job done. That was clean, that move. He's through and he's into second. Volokongan now fighting. Enzel Soom and Ryan on the background of this as well. Furious leading the way. Liam Bowman in second. Yossi there in third. The man in front, definitely not Furious. The rest of the field, definitely are, as Ryan goes to the inside on of Volokongan, can't find the way through.
I've seen less carnage on the M25, and that is perhaps the most notorious bit of road in the UK for how congested it is, for how accident-prone it is. Honestly, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Sammy Shetty's been in, Kai Pearson's been in. Two championship protagonists are almost definitely going to go pointless. Slightly spun it. That could be another one. He's clipped the inside wall on the entrance to the Nouvelle Chicane. That's another 3-second penalty for trying to get over the circuit. Axe saying in the live chat, he's out of this one. If you want more carnage, make sure you tune in this time next week. We'll happily collect our ad revenue because, well, the viewers have shot up since the carnage started to unfold.
Again, this is just... I don't know what I'm witnessing. I've done this 10 years of league racing commentary. Sometimes you get the best races, sometimes you get the worst, sometimes you get them in the middle. This is just different level. This is honestly just different level. Furious leading the way, Yossi in second, Louis Valentin there in third, Liam Bowman there in fourth, then it's Stefano, Benza, Benza, Volokongan, Ryan, Endelsum, your own in for that damage. He's there in 10th, was in 10th, because Macho is now up a position, as is your own Kai Pearson, also in the pit lane as well, maybe going for that front wing damage. But thank God it's calmed down. Thank God it has calmed down to some extent. Furious there leading the way. 10.9 seconds over Yossi. Now remember, Louis Valentin's victory in Legacy Division, 20 seconds in the end. And Furious is now going to try and get this possibly out to around about that point. But Yossi on that fresh medium compound tyre, not losing any more ground. 10.8 seconds and behind. That might seem like an absolute impossible decision. But one safety car can change everything around this track. We've seen it already twice in this race. A safety car can change the complexion of a race entirely. And Yossi there potentially is hoping for a safety car just to get back in. And then Furious, obviously, transition onto a set of soft compound tyre. But whatever you're witnessing, I honestly don't know. I really do not know. I'm flummoxed, I'm flabbergasted, I don't know what is going on. But Furious leading the way, on course, right now, as long as he doesn't bin it in the wall or anything, is on course now for a race win. And I honestly thought I'd never be saying that in this race.
Sorry, can you repeat? I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm still here. Don't worry. Furious, it might not be a 29.790 second victory that Louis Valentin had. Yossi's still under investigation for the contact with Sammy Shemsi. Louis Valentin's on course for a podium, and considering everything he's been through, I think he'll happily take that. Liam Bowman's still carrying on. I feel for him. 11 seconds worth of penalties. Had that clash with the barrier on his own. He's sort of just been an innocent bystander in all of this. And hopefully for his sake, he can get at least 8 seconds of those removed. And then he might still have a chance of finishing in the top 4 here. Stefano on 13 seconds will be in a similar sort of scenario for wanting to appeal. Benza in P6, who's did get damage at some point, but he didn't come into the pit lane to change his wing. That gives Volokongan a slight sniff at P6 for the remainder of this race. 2 seconds is the gap. Our nearest battle on track. Thankfully, there's only one of them, and it's Enzo chasing down OP Ryan, both on the same age of tyre.
Yeah, I saw, by the way, a McLaren front wing fly up in or an M plate actually fly up in towards the background where we had all of that carnage with Sammy Chemsi and everything going on. It was Enzo Soom that actually lost that front wing end plate, so he's got vital end plate damage on that car. Still continuing on, still hunting on the back of Ryan. You may as well, because otherwise you're going to be put back 19 seconds. You potentially could get lapped, I think, when you come back in the pit lane. But Endelsum on the back of Ryan, looking to try and get this job done. 8th and 9th position, Alpine against McLaren. McLaren now looking for the straight, down the straight into the Nouvelle Chicane. Don't think he's close enough, but he can realise and recognise that that red fuel light is flashing, or that red light on the back of the car is flashing, indicating that Ryan has got less than 10% of ERS, and Enzo has got 35%. So, I was going to say, he can try and get the job done, but he's just hit the wall again, coming through to back. That's going to be yet more damage on that right side end plate, and Enzo Soom there in 9th position, having an absolute disastrous race. It is Monaco at the end of the day, and Enzo, coming into the pit lane, stops, and then decides to come in the pit lane. That's a bit of a strange one. Never seen that before.
Honestly, I think he felt like that the pit entrance in terms of the line for the pit limiter was a lot earlier than that. So I think he sort of autopiloted it into the pit lane, thinking that it would take over from him. It hasn't, and he's lost a couple more seconds there than he might have hoped for. That promotes Sammy Shemsi back up into P10. That's a valuable point, you've got to say, around here in Monaco, where everything has just gone horribly in the last few laps for him. Louis Valentin on the back of Yossi, hopefully a little bit more measured with Louis, of course. So much experience when it comes to Monaco. Was the last World Monaco winner, was the last PSGL F1 Monaco winner back in season 32. I think that was at the start of the last game cycle. Either way, he's going to be using all that experience now and potentially a switchback as Yossi goes slightly wide. Here comes the DRS. It's open. It's a short straight. Not long at all. He's got the overtake button on, but Yossi seems very quick indeed in a straight line considering Monaco, and he's not able to get through.
Maybe up the hill and towards Massenet, I was thinking, but Louis Valentin has actually been forced out because of that dirty air running through turn 1. He got forced out of pretty much the slipstream effect, and therefore Yossi remains ahead. Second and third right now, but it is the age-old battle of F7R against OP. Only, albeit on an individual level here in WOR Console Tier 1, but whenever I see an F7R OP battle, I want to see them fight, and I want to see them really deliver out on track. And this is hopefully going to make up for Legacy Division. This is hopefully a Christmas present coming early between these two, because Yossi and Louis Valentin, they don't like each other, put it that way, but when they do fight, and if they fight in a very fair manner, they are absolute gold together. They are absolute class to watch, and hopefully we can see this now over the final 5 laps between them both. Furious, they're leading the way. Definitely, it seems, confirmed as your race winner, unless he hits the wall and bins it into the wall and is out of the race. Yossi and Louis Valentin, second and third. I wish we could bring you more action, but this is literally the only battle that we've got out on track. And Louis Valentin, again, on the DRS, is more further back than last time around. I don't think he's going to try and attack now Yossi on the back. And remember, both of them on the same compound of tyre, both of them on that set of mediums, and one of their tyres is certainly going to be wearing out more than the other. And I think it's Louis Valentin. I think Yossi's held onto his tyres a little bit better than Louis Valentin has in third. But Louis still pushing, looking to try and get at least some resemblance of a race win here in WOR Console Tier 1 compared to Legacy Division, where of course he took that race win. But Louis Valentin in third, on the back of Yossi, still fighting. F7R and OP. You could either wince at this battle or you can watch it. But put it this way, I'm going to watch it, and hopefully they're both clean and fair.
This lap for Enzo was just a side update there on the top of your screen, but still Louis Valentin stays behind the Ferrari, and it feels like we might be saying this for a few more laps still until the time runs out, but you never know. Yossi might still have a penalty coming his way from the race stewards, so Louis Valentin might just acknowledge that and go, if I don't need to overtake you, I won't overtake you. And that's perhaps why he's just not been as desperate at the moment. To be fair, I feel like he's giving it everything still. He's using the overtake up towards the first corner at Sanderbot. It tightens on the entrance, takes a lot of inside curb, gets a really good exit, does Louis Valentin, and he's maybe, eat my words here, as it's going to be a tight squeeze up to the top of Massenet, and it's a spitting image crash of what Yossi did to Sammy Shemsi, and a virtual safety car has been deployed. Oh, I can't believe it.
I did say you could win so you could watch it, and if you watched it, you could have probably said to yourself, you knew it was coming, and I agree with you. I agree with you. Yossi and Louis Valentin, second and third. VSE deployed. I don't think we're going to get a full safety car. I think it's way too late now for a full safety car to be deployed out on track. Yossi and Louis Valentin. It was, I could see it from Louis Valentin trying to go to the inside line. He had the rightness of fairness, I think, in terms of that overtake. And Yossi there, in the end, you could see Louis Valentin weaving. He is furious with Yossi there in second, pun intended for the race leader. But Yossi there in second, Louis Valentin in third. It was just simple wheel banging going through midway through the corner, which caused that crash. In the end, far too aggressive from Louis Valentin. Yossi had the right to defend. He had that right of defence, and in the end, they both hit each other, and they both ended up pretty much in the wall. Louis Valentin escapes with that scot-free. Whether or not he does, though, by the stewards, remains to be seen. Yossi is into the pit lane. He is going to be rejoining, potentially in 8th position. DRS is back enabled. No drive-through penalties, luckily, for anyone on this grid. But Furious, they're leading the way. 16 seconds now over the back of Louis Valentin. Liam Bowman in third. Stefano there in fourth. And that age-old battle, again, between OP and F7R, when it works, they are absolutely brilliant. When it doesn't, it ends up like that.
Yeah, it's not what we want to see, especially on 2 occasions, a driver trying that move, and unfortunately, it's just not what we want to see, is it? Sammy Shemsi, I was watching that as well, and OP Ryan, I think he's struggling with some damage, or certainly some very worn tyres as he squeezes down the inside on the Alpine. Brilliant move, you have to say, under these circumstances. Tested Ryan as he's still trying to fight back. What's the U for?
Yossi nearly got put in the wall, actually. Ryan there on the recovery coming out of the corner. Yossi was so close to the wall there. He nearly went too deep, but now he's going to get the job done. Ryan has let through, and that is what we like to see. F7, an OP man letting through an F7R man. I never thought I'd see that to end the day. But Yossi there in 8th position. Ryan there in 9th. Ryan obviously with that damage. It doesn't really matter how this outcome is going to be. It doesn't really matter for Yossi because it could be a penalty, as I say, coming his way. He's on the back of Sammy Chemsey now, though. And again, these two have made contact in the past before. And I hope they don't, because I really hope we get to see some bloody good racing at the end of this race. You guys deserve it. We deserve it in the comment box. Let's see a good battle run up the hill and towards Massaday. Sammy Chemsey slow coming out of the corner in towards Massaday. But again, Minister of Defence, Yossi is aware of that danger. He's aware of that threat, but he's going to try and go all the way around the outside, not for the inside of Massaday. But Sammy Chemsey is making that McLaren look about twice as wide right now in towards Mirabeau, and Yossi cannot find a way through. He's gone way too deep though into the brakes. Yossi now on the outside line into the Grand Hotel hairpin, not getting the job done. He is wise to the fact as the man there in P8, the Swiss man, trying to now hunt on the back of Sammy Chemsey, and this is going to go down into the Novell chicane quite clearly.
Yeah, I think he's got him here on the exit. He's back into the slipstream. Sammy Shemsey's got to pick a spot to defend. He squeezes him over to the left-hand side and eventually has the racing line and the freedom to brake on it. Another switchback for Yossi, and it's going to be up the inside into Tabak, but again he backs out. Spitting image of earlier, completely different circumstance now. That was for a podium position. This is for P7, and Sammy Shemsey might have gotten the brakes too early there. I'm not sure. I didn't see his telemetry, but it felt like Yossi was not ever going to be able to read that. Here he comes again. DRS, ERS on the final lap of 39 here in Monaco. Stefano's out. He's crashed. Unbelievable as Yossi makes a move as well. He's weaving. He's weaving. He's taking the mick out of Sammy Shemsey. Oh, my word.
Sammy Chemsey's been sold to the cleaners, quite literally. Stefano, by the way, has crashed at the top of the hill through Massaman Casino Square. His P4 has gone. Somebody's P1, though, hasn't. It's Furious now coming in towards the final couple of corners. He has driven absolutely marvellously. Louis Valentin, who, coming through the final corner with Furious on the run to the line. Furious is your race winner in the Monaco Grand Prix in WR Console Tier 1. Absolutely drove the socks off that Alfa Romeo. Fantastic win from him. Louis Valentin, the king of Monaco, dethroned here as he now comes to the line through Anthony Norge on the run to the line. Finishes there in second. Liam Bowman, could he keep that P3? We'll have to wait and see. Liam Bowman there in third. Benza there in fourth. That 5-second penalty hunting back there on Liam Bowman's backside. But Volokongan there in fourth. Liam Bowman there in fifth. Yossi, after selling Sammy Chemsey to the cleaners, is somehow P6 in that race. Do not know how. Sammy Chemsey there in seventh. Enzo there rounding off in P8. And then it is Ryan, Macho, Yaron and Kai Pearson, the 12 that are going to finish out on track. But Furious taking that race win. Louis Valentin there in second. Benza there in third, and Volokongan in the end, if that 3-second penalty for Benza's not removed, a 10th of a second covering P3 and 4 at the end of that race.
Yeah, I'm going to try and work out these provisional standings because Kai Pearson is not getting anything. He's drifting around on this final lap. He's making the most, potentially, of his final console outing in Monaco. Liam Bowman, it's a provisional P5, so that's 10 points. He's up to 35. For Sammy Shemsey, it's P7, so he'd be 6. He's up to 36. So, again, the top 4, I think, are now separated. 5 points, I think? I'm not sure. I'll go on the provisional standings shortly. I might have got that completely wrong after the hour and a half we've just had of racing. If you can call it racing, to be honest, because that was far from it.
It was far from it, and yeah, driving standards definitely gonna be something to behold, I think, going forward into the rest of the season, in towards the round 4 of the championship as well. But for now, Furious, I think we can definitely say, unless he's gonna get a 15-second time penalty or a 20-second penalty, Furious has taken the race win. He is far from his shadowed self. He takes that race win out on track. He's gonna be beaming, absolutely beaming with delight, and the former Parnell Racing man, now part of BRT, of course, taking that race win, the Alfa Romeo out on top. Avatar mentioned in the chat, this is the worst race I've seen in the last few months. Stay away from Monaco race drivers, they'll give you nightmares. But what do you think of us? Us having to commentate on 39 laps of this? We want our money back. We want our payment from Mr. Luke Humphries there after that absolute I do not know what, but
That's
Furious.
A joke, by the way,
it is. It is a joke. We do not get paid. It is entirely out of our voluntary work, which is really good. But Furious takes the race win. Louis Valentin in second. Benza there in third. The King of Monaco dethroned at the end. Volakonga there in fourth. 16th on the grid, by the way. Up to fourth. Fantastic effort from him. Liam Bowman there in fifth. Potentially couldn't end up third if he gets that 5-second penalty, of course, removed along with his other. Yossi there in sixth. Sammy Chempsey in seventh. Ryan there in eighth. Enzo there in ninth. Macho rounding off the top 10. Enzo, by the way, fastest lap. And then it's Jeroen, Kai Pearson, the 12 finishers. Stefano, gotta feel sorry for him after crashing. Schumacher, Joe Murphy, Nick Axe, Gabor, Fernand Magician. The 20 drivers that did end up in that race. But oh, I do not know where to begin. I do not know where to decipher that race. Furious takes the race win, absolutely deserving, I think, out on track. It was a phenomenal effort from his perspective. And in the end, rightfully deserved, but the driving standards, absolutely shocking. This is console tier 1. I know it's Monaco, but this is console tier 1. We demand better as commentators. You guys demand better at home. It's simple. And we go, of course, into round 4, Joe, with quite a lot of gloss over the race ending and what the circumstances were in Monaco.
Absolutely. I think there's a fine line between entertainment and embarrassment. Did we cross it today? Potentially. But I'll leave that up for individual opinion, of course. But going into Las Vegas, I watched the back end of the PSGL race and previous races at Las Vegas, and I have to say I'm not looking forward to it in terms of being any better than what we've seen tonight. Long straight, 225 miles an hour, immediately into a left chicane. Oh, God help us when it comes to that race next week. But, you know, should get some viewers in.
It should get some viewers in, and yeah, let's remind you, of course, of what is to come for WOR Console Tier 1 this season as well. We've only got 2 more races. It's an American doubleheader, actually, before we go for our Christmas break, an earlier Christmas break than normal as well. Las Vegas up next. I did PSGL commentary around there on Monday, and it wasn't a bad race, I've got to say. There was a bit of controversy, yeah, in PSGL's Tier 1 race, but it wasn't too bad, and there was some good overtaking. There was a lot of contact, which is come to expect. But Las Vegas is one of those tracks where it's a bit like Nutella. You either love it or you hate it. Same with Monaco. You either love it or you hate it. And Las Vegas next week is gonna be, I think, one of those tracks, Joe, where it separates the men from the boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think there could be a little bit of a lottery element in that, and I'm not making another reference to Monaco's gambling industry nor Las Vegas's gambling industry, but the drivers, they've got to take risks. Of course they've got to take risks. We've seen that tonight with how difficult it can be sometimes. 2-3 abreast on that Las Vegas strip sounds fun in prospect, but honestly, it's just hypervigilance and just being ready to say enough to you know, being a bit of a pleb out there on the track. But either way, I'm looking forward to it. It feels like I'm just being harsh for the sake of it, but it's console racing at the highest level. Come on.
Yeah,
do better.
Get a grip. Get a
Yeah.
grip. That is what I'm going to say. And if you are one of these Tier 1 drivers that think you didn't do anything wrong, go and watch that race back afterwards and then come back and tell me in my DMs about that race, because that race was not Tier 1 standard. Frankly, it wasn't even Tier 9 standard, and I'll even prove that to you going forward, and hopefully we get to see some really good action. Las Vegas, Circuit of the Americas, I'm definitely looking forward to. Of course, Gareth will be back next week for Las Vegas, Texas the week after as well, and then at Singapore, Mexico with the second sprint, the first and only sprint even of the season, then Portugal, Belgium, Austria, and China to round off the season. Yossi, by the way, mentioning in the Discord that it was an outbreak on himself and Louis Valentine in terms of that battle, which it looked to me as if it was originally, and it was unfortunate for him because he finished there, in P6, where it could have been a lot higher from his perspective. Emotions do get the better of you sometimes, so hopefully he can come back from that. And Furious also mentioning, I'm so glad my dad fixed my pedals, thanks mate. So Furious thanking his dad, not thanking anyone else, but thanking his dad for fixing his pedals. And put it this way, he had pedals that absolutely worked to perfection here tonight, and it was a phenomenal race from him and a phenomenal race from you guys at home for tuning in as well. And I really hope you enjoyed that, no matter how that was controversial. I really hope you did enjoy that race. And if you did, you can like, comment, subscribe, of course. Tick that notification bell. Of course, if you are brand new to the channel, I'm not going to be back, I don't think, next week, unless Gareth or you, Joe, are away. So, Joe, you're going into next week with Las Vegas. Excited alongside Gareth, or dreading it?
I'm shaking my head. I'm dreading it. But I mean, it'll be fun, for sure. Considering the championship fight that we've sort of got set up now between Sammy, between Boma, between Kai. Kai Pointless today, of course. No, that's not his surname. It is Pearson, not Pointless. But whatever. Yeah, let's for the record say I'm looking forward to it. But again, one of a million possibilities, as I mentioned about Monaco before we got started tonight.
Yeah, going to be an interesting one. It is going to be fascinating to see how everything is going to transpire out on track. And if you do want to tune in for more action as well, I think I've got the PC calendar up on here. Hope I didn't know it's the E-Series calendar. Don't want to show that. Anyways, we're done for the stream. We are done for tonight. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. For myself and Joe, please stay safe. Please wish us well. And please tune in next week for Las Vegas. It's going to be a very interesting one. But for myself and Joe, thank you so much for watching. We'll leave you with our sponsors, Next Level Racing and Grade Finder. Until next time, goodbye.